I've taught a lot of people how to play Football Manager, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something. So I asked you for your best Football Manager advice. Specifically, I tweeted, if someone asks you how to play Football Manager, what do you tell them? Some of the answers were more helpful than others, like make sure you have a remote job first, which is actually a pretty helpful piece of advice. It's kind of how I learned how to play the game. I played it in the back of my college lectures, and that's why this is the only job that I'm qualified for. But really, you all had some great advice. I learned by playing until I felt overwhelmed and then starting over. Repeat. That's what I did too. Problem is that it took me 2 years to not feel overwhelmed. Play 90 minutes full match because that's how football is really played. Not simulating 7 seasons in an hour and claim you're a tactical mastermind. Answer your question? Probably need to have that person locked up in an insane asylum. I think that's the only reasonable response to that. Trust yourself. Do what you want to do and enjoy. Look to download tactics and content creators for ideas and take what works for you, but in the end, do it yourself and your way and you'll enjoy more. Succeed or fail. Like this dude was writing some sort of wallpaper to put in a middle-aged woman's house, but also a pretty good piece of advice. It's a lifestyle, not a hobby. Truth, brother. Starting with a national team can make the game less overwhelming for a beginner, which is true until you get to the point where you have to actually select your players and then your brain explodes. Skip everything that's tactical, get to game day and spam encourage, berate, and praise depending on the scoreline and funny little colored faces. Honestly, there was like a solid 5 seconds where I thought that was racist until I remembered that that's how you can see the morale. Oh. It's actually pretty good advice. You can win a lot of games by doing exactly that. Press spacebar and hope for the best. You can also win a lot of games doing that. That is a perfectly acceptable way to approach things. In solitude and perpetuity. How to play Football Manager. In solitude, perpetually. Great brevity, too. Focus on squad management. Understand finances to ensure you're getting value for money and keep it simple with tactics. Once they're hooked, look into benefits of scouting, training, tactics, and staff. Students playing Economy Manager. But honestly, if I said that I wasn't super interested in buying low and selling high, I'd be lying. I am super interested in that. For learning, pick a team like City, PSG, Real Madrid, mess around with the tactic and roles you want. We'll teach you that if you're losing the league, your tactic isn't good enough and modify it until you learn how to play with the easy teams to use. I'll actually pivot. City and PSG are definitely easy, but when you manage a huge club, there's actually a lot more to manage. You have giant youth teams, a massive staff, like everything down to you have to do preseason tours and those sorts of things. I mean, when you're managing a large club, there is a lot more that you actually have to manage. So I usually recommend super lower league saves or good teams in bad leagues, so that you have the same effect you're looking for, but without the same sort of bureaucracy to have to control. Watch a lot of football. Watch post-match shows. Read about football matches. Or you can just do that virtually. I mean, there is an entire news section. You can just browse and read all sorts of news. You can simulate years into the future to generate more news. You will never run out of football news to read as long as you have Football Manager, and that's great news. Quit and exit when losing the game. Log in again. Change strategy and you will feel like Sir Alex Ferguson, Ancelotti, or Mourinho. See, we call this one the reload. Now, I won't hate on this like most people will because it's a video game and play it however you want, but the victory is so much sweeter when it's earned the first time. And when you create those magical moments in Football Manager, you want to have a way to commemorate them. Well, fortunately, in real life, there is actually a way to commemorate those magical moments. My friend started a company and it's sponsoring the video today, which is awesome. His name's Sweet Left Foot. He's a Football Manager content creator I used to compete against in the Streamer Showdowns, and he has started a company called Full-Time Prints. It gives fans a chance to remember their special moments in matches, and he let me basically try it out. See, my favorite moment in football history is this one. It's John Brooks for the USA, and they actually give you a layout of exactly where all the players were on the field, and here's, Zusi with the corner, the header in. It gives me the position of every single player on the field in the past, the time, the location, the final score, all of that memorialized right here on this print. But they do different kinds of prints. Like this is the other one he sent me, and this is the call from that moment, which is so iconic, right? What about that? What about that for the USA? Have they stolen it? Quite incredible. He couldn't even have dreamt that. It's the call. It's the actual broadcast call memorialized in the other print. They also do team sheet and league table prints if those are the most important parts of your favorite football memory. They have a bunch of these magical moments preloaded into their website, but if you can't find one there, you can email them for a custom print. That's exactly what I did for John Brooks. It's a great way to decorate anywhere and remind yourself of one of the few moments that it wasn't just pure pain to be a fan. You can check it out at the link at the top of the description and use discount code Zealand to get a bit off of your order. And shout out to Sweet Left Foot for starting a really cool company. There's also a QR code on the screen that you can just scan to make your life easier. I have 2 mainstay decorations for my man cave forever. Now back to Football Manager. Have you heard of a cool DLC called Excel? Yeah, I mean, it is helpful. Don't act like it's not helpful. You learn with experience. After your 10th season, you still have 60% of things you still haven't learned. Do it all over again. Repetition, 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 and when you're done with that, repetition some more. Just play the game. Learn as you go. It's what I did. There will be many things I don't know about, but I'd rather do everything based on my own merit. While that would very likely put a lot of my tutorials out of a job, it's not a bad way to go. Diving into the game first and learning as you go is how I did it. It might take longer, and maybe once you feel like you're in control of the basic part of the game, you want to watch tutorials about how to do some of the harder parts of the game. But yeah, I mean, dive in. Dive in. Are you sure you want an addiction? No, but we're way past that. Don't. It'll ruin your life. You can get actual coaching badges with less effort. Is that true? Has this just been a giant waste of... No. We're going to avoid the existential crisis today. I have devoted my time to a worthy cause. Don't make any promises unless absolutely necessary. This is not like a good first piece of advice, but it is very, very... Just remember it. 10 years from now when you finally understand Football Manager, this will echo back to you, and it will make all of the difference in the world. Gegenpress. Let others do a lot of your responsibilities. Buy under 25 unless you're desperate for a filler player. Overly simplified, and yet weirdly, I feel like this would actually help you win a lot of games. This doesn't explain the methodology behind it, but what it does do is prevent you from making dumb mistakes, right? Oh, this is great. This is a very realistic answer. I suppose if you're going to do it, then be prepared for a steep learning curve. It depends what kind of experience you want. If you want it all laid out for you, then that's fine. Then there's people like me who believe you learn more by making mistakes at little clubs. Nothing really to add to that. That's just, if you're that type of person, get after it. Watch some YouTube videos to get an overview. Delegate things to staff and start with less responsibilities. Honestly, to me, most important thing you can say off the top, delegate everything you don't know how to do. That removes a lot of the super intimidating stuff involved in the game. Are you ready to lose hours of your day looking at spreadsheets and clicking space? You're gonna love this. There are worse ways to spend an afternoon. Don't lie to yourself. Make sure you change all your staff responsibilities regarding contracts immediately before your board signs a physio with a 4 for physiotherapy. So not delegating staff contracts. Got it. Okay. Want to delegate everything else, but handling staff contracts. Start the game, pick a formation. Unsuited to the other players, lose games. Buy players that you think would work in the formation. Still lose, rage quit for a bit. Google Zealand. Get hints, tips, and a meta formation. Win the quintuple. Act like you're Pep and boast all your friends. Well, hey, there's no such thing as an unbeatable formation in FM, which means you did a lot of the work. I was just the placebo effect for you. Winning a quintuple's winning a quintuple. Not even I can do that every day. We are going to be here all day. Let me explain to you the basics for an hour and then the tactics and training for 6 hours. I do that every day. It's, again, great way to spend 7 hours if you got the time. Start with a bottom league team and work your way up. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel like that is actually not a bad way to do it, especially for people like me that aren't introduced to the idea of promotion and relegation at an early age. It really is cool to think of the fact that you can start really small and work your way all the way up. It can get you addicted to the game for sure. You don't play Football Manager. Football Manager plays you. Ain't that right, brother? Ain't that right? On that note, I am part of a support group. The information can be found in the description if you feel like you are getting played. Sign an engine in the midfield. Set to take more risks. Step 3, question marks. Step 4, win the Champions League. I can't believe we keep overthinking it. I can't believe it's that simple. Hope you enjoy your new 9 to 5. You guys don't stay up until 3 in the morning playing? Seriously? You're able to limit yourself? How? Start with the Xbox version, do a couple seasons, then go on the full version? Then you would have to buy the game twice, but the Xbox version is the old touch version. It is a watered down version of FM, which it's a game that needs some watering down. Come on, let's be honest. You're probably one of the only people who gets asked this. Yes, that is true. And thank you so much for not helping me answer the question. Start a team you support, know really well, and look at the staff responsibilities and delegate everything you're unsure about. Start with doing a few things yourself, and whenever you feel comfortable, slowly pick up more if you want to. I've actually never thought about it this exact way before, but starting with a team that you know is really, really smart because you won't have to engage with the attributes as much. If you're starting with a team you're a fan of, you will have a basic understanding of what players are good at and what they're not. Obviously, it won't be exactly what the Football Manager scouts have seen, but it'll be close. And given the fact that you have an idea, you don't have to even dive all the way into the attributes to start playing the game, which is a really good recommendation. I'm gonna steal that. I'm actually gonna use that. That's really good advice. Take your time, grab a coffee, stay calm, pick your favorite team, and be ready to fail because it will happen a lot. What if you don't drink coffee? I don't drink coffee. I feel like I just missed the point where everybody else got into coffee. I just went to school one day, everybody else had a coffee. I'm like, well, what? Did I miss the club meeting? Patience, patience, patience. And if you're crap at the game, embrace it like I did, but enjoy it anyways. Just embrace the pain, right? You have to be sadistic. It just says go play something else. It's too late for that. It's too late. You aren't about that FM life, bro. Go back to FIFA. Let's be honest. We all have that one friend that lines up with this perfectly. There's that one friend you just know can't handle the FM life. Do what feels right. You'll lose a lot, but that's part of the fun. Also, Scout South America. Never agree to playing position demands. You see this typed into the void. I'm assuming they're thinking I'm never going to read this. This is an expression of pure pain of somebody who has failed to satisfy somebody's playing position requirement and is now reaping the horrible, violent consequences. Work the space tutorials. Really? Underneath my tweet? Really? Resign the space? Really? Watch Zealand. Do I have a rival whose name has 2 E's in it? Oh no. My twin! Hey, what's up? It's Zealand. I've been trying to keep him secret for years. Automate everything and focus on learning one aspect at a time. Then just leave what you don't enjoy automated by your staff and do everything you enjoy. For me, that's tactics, scouting, and playing the matches. This is the single best right here. This is it's got a ton of likes as well. This is the single best piece of advice you can give to somebody just starting out in Football Manager. Absolutely. If you ever find yourself in that position, that's the one that I endorse. Football Manager is a find your own adventure sandbox game at its heart. So get rid of all the stuff you don't want to do and find the stuff you want to learn how to do and do. Oh wait, there's 2 more. Cece said watch Z, which shout out to my homegirl. She's right, obviously. The second one is watch Top Pick. That was Nick RTFM. Now you listen here, Nicholas. You might have won the league with Manchester United. You might be thinking you're hot stuff, but you only adopted this Football Manager world. But I'm coming for you. I started that same save with Manchester United, Nick RTFM, and I will show you what Manchester United's really capable of in these ever so capable space button pushing fingers. You can watch that save on my Twitch channel as I try and catch Nick RTFM's record with Manchester United, and you can check this video out about how Football Manager, or part of Football Manager, is actually broken. And we ran the tests, and it doesn't look good. We tested it, we talk about it. Very interesting. Hopefully a little insightful. See ya.